Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Shugi Podcast. This is Ep.4, and we're going to be talking about our trips around the world. I'm joined here today by Joseph
Bro,
and LaChine.
Hello.
All right, and we're just going to be talking about all the trips that we've been on in our lifetime, and I guess LaChine can start us off.
No. Okay, fine.
Okay, there you go. Go ahead.
Um, what trip should I start off with? Like a recent one?
You could go. You could go with any trip you remember the most, I guess.
Well, memory of a goldfish, so I'll go with the most recent one then.
Okay, okay.
This was the last trip I had was pre-COVID. So that was like 2019 was my last trip. I went to China.
Hmm.
Reason? I forgot, but I'll think about it when I start talking about it. We went to China. I think it's just for vacation, just my mom and I. We went to her little village in Toisan,
Hmm.
and I had a fun time. Even though I was like a city girl, out of my element, in a country where I didn't really speak the language as well as the local people, I still had fun, and it was really interesting to see the cultural differences and like technology advancements that they had compared to Canada and America.
Yeah.
And it was actually really fun. And the food was absolutely delicious. For just for some reason, just food outside of the country that you're from, just for some reason, just tastes better. And I had a lot of fun at the village. Like I got to see a lot of animals that I would never really see. Like I saw so many cows, bulls, a lot of dogs, just like dogs walking around the village. Like I think that was the time where I saw like my first like goat and like a pig where they weren't petting zoo animals.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep it safe in here, but they weren't for a petting zoo, they were for something else. Um but I would be more specific of where I like went, but I we didn't have access to the internet mostly at the time. So I couldn't pull up Google Maps, so I didn't know where I was actually. But yeah, we didn't really do anything interesting. Probably just go around, eat, enjoy the atmosphere, take some pictures. I kind of wish we went to the interesting places like an amusement park or something,
Mm-hmm.
but sadly, we only stayed there for like 1.5 to 2 weeks before we came back because I had to go to school.
Ah, okay.
It was pretty boring, and I can't really remember very well, so that's all I have. But I think we discussed this before. Like, I don't know if you're going to talk about this trip, but I think Jim and I were in China at the same time.
Oh yes, I also went to China at in 2019. It was
It
right
was in
before spring break.
March. Was it March or May?
Uh, Hold on, I have to look.
Mm,
It was March and April.
March and April, right?
Hmm.
It was like at the end of March too.
At the end of March.
Yeah, we were looking at our photos, discussing on what topic to choose for our next podcast, and discovered that were actually in China at the same time.
We could have bumped into each other. Could have.
Yeah, but I didn't know where I was.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know the names.
Yeah, up to you. That
All
was
right.
pretty
Well,
interesting.
I guess I could start off with my trip in 2019. Same place, China. I took a week off of school right before spring break, so when I got back home, it would be spring break, just to take a break. But that comes into a very important play later. So when I first got to China, there was a KFC in the airport, so obviously I had to hit that up. And the KFC there was just totally different. All their food items were a lot more different than what we have here in America. And I did try a bunch of the stuff on the menu, but not too many items. I was hungry, but it's really expensive over there.
And which one did you enjoy more, the China KFC or the American KFC?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say honestly the China one. Something about their chicken sandwiches, is really good.
It's different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I remember I went to a mall, and the mall had these escalators that doesn't have any steps to it. It just goes up like a little ramp. and that was really cool. That was like very different. I'd never seen those before. And I also went to a Walmart and a Pizza Hut in China. The Walmart was the same thing. It had those ramps that just went up. And the Pizza Hut, you could actually sit down to eat. And it had 2 stories to it, which was, I don't know, just mind-boggling to me.
Whoa, as many times as I've been to China, I've actually never seen the Walmart. Like, was it any different, like in terms of atmosphere? Like, or like when you walked in, you're like,
Oh
am I
yeah,
back in
yeah.
America again?
No, no, it felt like a Chinese market, but it was Walmart. Like everything was Walmart. I think they had like a Chinese version of Great Value.
Mm.
And this was the first China trip that I brought my phone with me. So I took a bunch of pictures and a bunch of videos. And I was getting into photography, so I filmed a bunch of time lapses and just took a bunch of pictures around places.
Did you do anything else fun? Like perhaps go to an amusement park?
I did. It's a good thing you brought that up because I went to an amusement park with a bunch of roller coasters and I went to a glass bridge. Or
Glass bridge?
or glass bridge place, yeah. It was scary at first. When you get up there, and you have to climb these like big flights of stairs to get up there. That was like a big exercise by itself. But
Wait, is it
you had to put these like little you had to put these things on your shoes so you don't like mark the glass or anything.
wait, was it that is it that famous one where it's the really big like high up bridge that like connects between two mountain peaks or something? And
Yes,
then
yes, yes. It
the
connect it
famous
connected.
video ones, right?
I don't know if it was from the famous videos, but it was pretty scary up there and it was pretty high. I took a bunch of pictures and let me see if I'm trying to refresh my memory as I scroll through this.
I could never. Like, was it just like was traffic one way? Like once you stepped on, you couldn't like go back.
Yeah.
Oh
You have to cross
shoot!
the whole thing. And since it was in China, China is not really, safe 100% of the time. But I had trust, I had trust. But when we crossed to the other side, there was an option to just walk down the stairs again, right? Or you could put on this sack and go down this glass slide that goes all the way down to the bottom.
A glass slide.
And since I was a little younger, the youngest one there, my parents all had to like, took the other path and I got to go down the glass slide.
By yourself?
Yeah.
You're a brave boy.
It was insane. The scenery was crazy and I got to see so much. I filmed the whole thing too. I got to show you guys someday.
That sounds like a real experience
Yeah.
compared to my boring China trip.
Alright. I
I
mean, maybe
just
something might
breathe.
bring up. Maybe something might bring up. Something might come up. But afterwards, after that whole trip at night, we went to go get McDonald's.
Chinese McDonald's.
Chinese McDonald's, and I
I
have a
hear
picture of it
that
too.
that hits different.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And then for the amusement park, there was this roller coaster that went straight up and straight down, like almost at 90 degrees. And I'm not gonna lie here, I was too much of a weenie to go on there, so I didn't go on there. I just went on the other roller coasters.
Did you at least take a picture of it? Just
I
to
did not take a picture of it because phones
you could have
phones were not
saved it.
allowed. Phones were not allowed there.
Oh. Well, I wish they were, because then you could have saved it. Be like, when I'm older,
Yeah, you had to
I'll
put
come
them. You
back
had to
here,
put all your
face
belongings in a little
you.
locker.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That sounds interesting. Like everything, like even your wallet and stuff, or like,
Yeah, and you get your own little key that you have to keep around.
oh,
Nothing got
that's a lot of
stolen, thank God. Yeah,
trust.
that is a lot of
That's a lot,
trust, I know.
yeah, a lot of trust right there.
And after the amusement park, I went to a zoo and saw many flamingos, which I took pictures of, and I saw tigers, bears, and monkeys, and also a kangaroo that was just laying down on its back. I don't know if it was dead or something, but I think it was just sleeping, but it looked really weird.
I hope it's not
No, I
dead.
hope not. I don't know. I just saw it there in the exhibit. But yeah, that
Did
China
you?
trip was very
Mm.
fun. I also went to my mom's hometown, my dad's hometown my dad's hometown had the Walmart, and my mom's hometown was more like a village.
Oh, which one did you enjoy more?
I actually enjoyed my mom's mostly, even though it's like a village, I got to
Mm-hmm,
meet most of my family there, see my aunts,
mm-hmm.
and of course see my grandpa and grandma.
They feed you good, huh?
They fed me real good. Yeah, one of my aunts owns a fruit shack, and she fed me a lot of like fresh fruits there. It was amazing. That was my
Very
most recent
nice.
China trip away from the country. I have one that's in the United States, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. But Joseph, do you have anything to share about your trips?
Yeah, I went to the Philippines twice, but I'll just talk about the one that's been more memorable to me.
Okay.
So, same thing with you. We went to the KFC as well. Like once we landed, like masks were still a thing. Like it was
Oh, okay.
normal
Oh, it was
to
during the
be.
pandemic? Okay.
It was like before the pandemic. So
Oh,
like
before. Oh.
back in 2016, like we still had to wear a mask because we were like, this isn't really our territory. so
Oh, okay, okay. I thought it
so I
was
mean,
because of the
it's
pandemic.
normal.
Okay.
No, yeah, it was normal like wearing a mask. So we wore one. We saw like a BTS Jungkook like picture frame, like
Mm.
was it cardboard cutout? And then so me and my brother went over there. But the KFC we were like surprised. We were like, whoa, this is not. They have different types of chicken. Wait, what? That's new to me. But and then we went to all that customs and making sure we were good. We stayed there for like a whole 3 hours because we were delayed. And then
Mm.
when we got to the Philippines, it was literally like a 6 hour drive all the way to, well, you guys don't know, it's called Ilocos Norte. But we had to like do like stops every like hour because one of us has to go to the bathroom, one of us has to go pee, or and I was like, or eat, my bad.
Mm.
But um yeah, I couldn't sleep during the whole 6 hours because I wasn't used to it. And I was told that I've been there like my first time, so this is like the third trip I've ever had. Um, Other than that, like we went and then I was just not used to the weather. And but the next day I was like up and running and everything. I was like, oh hey, how you doing?
Oh, how was
And
the weather
then
over there?
oh, it was like humid, like
Humid,
sweaty, not sweaty, but it was just sticky. Like I
sticky.
was touching
Okay.
my skin, I was like, oh, what the?
Ooh, yeah.
It was
You go
so
during
bad.
July or August?
It was July actually. And
Humid.
Yeah, I
I
can
know
relate to that sometimes in China.
eating like disgusted
Mm-hmm.
and then after that it was like it was 3 weeks, so we stayed there for three. We stayed in the Philippines 3 weeks, but we had to go to my mom's side because we were in our dad's side for like maybe a half a week, and then
Mm.
another half a week we went to my mom's because I'm not gonna be like biased or anything, but I think my mom's side is better because there was not only my dad's place had shopping and like called the Robinson Mall. I think a lot of people will know what that is who lives in Ilocos Norte, but my
Mm.
mom in La Union, her place she has like it's small, so her parents are like or just her mom. They're like they're poor, but we always help them out and all that. But their side, there's like a beach, like an actual beach, and I went surfing. My brother couldn't because
Ooh.
yeah, it's surfing, so we had to do a rent, and then the dude had to teach me how to actually surf. So I understood what he was talking about, but I couldn't speak it. So I was like, yeah, I understood Kuya. I was like meaning like brother, but I was like, yeah, I understand. So we went to my brother went first, and what happened was when he was surfing, all of a sudden he couldn't do it again because we checked his under the foot. I don't know if it was the left or the right, but his foot was like bleeding, so we had to put
Ooh.
Dermabond, which was like some type of ointment that will like you crack it and then you put it on the foot. So he had to like he couldn't do it anymore, so he just said, Joseph, just go have fun. I was like, all right. So I
Mm-hmm.
did, and then freaking I was like, don't touch the water. Like when I was surfing, like my whole goal was to not fall, and I didn't. I just fell until I reached like the surface of the sand.
Oh, nice,
But
nice.
but after that, the waves got so big that I turned around. I turned around and then I was like, oh shit, I'm about to fall. And I was like, no. And the dude saw me like panicking and shit, so he came to rescue me. So I was like, no, but halfway there, I grabbed the board and I was like, already fine. And I was actually enjoying it. And then we had to go back because it was already like sundown. We did do other things like volleyball.
Ooh, volleyball.
Yeah. And then, sorry, my dog.
Oh, you're good.
Our
You're good.
our special guest made Joseph forget his words.
You fucking freaking dog. All right, but I was just. We'll be back with commercial break.
Okay. Well, LaChine, would you like to add anything before Joseph comes back?
I remembered what I went on the trip for. I finally remembered. So while Joseph's on his little commercial break,
Okay. Okay.
we'll go back to my trip because I finally remembered. Pat myself on the back. I actually went to China during. I don't know if anyone else knows, but it's like usually February or March is like Hangsan time, where it's like you kind of like visit your ancestors or like your grandma or great grandpa or something. And usually for village terms, it's like the ancestors are literally buried on like the mountain that's like near the village. That's the place where everyone is like usually buried. And so February or March, it's after Chinese New Year, is usually the time when everyone gathers, like the family gathers or close like friends, and we take a whole day to hike up the mountain. It's pretty treacherous because it's like village side,
Mm.
and it's like you could possibly see a snake sometimes, but I think they've already all been hunted down. But you could probably see some snakes, maybe some wolves or something, like if you go deeper in. It was basically kind of on the outskirts of the village, so it was kind of safe. But you could probably get bitten by bugs or scratched by like sharp rocks or branches. And so basically, we just took the day. We had to prep all the things. So like chicken and like all the traditional like Chinese foods that you see during the holidays.
Mm.
And we would like carry all of that up the mountain, and we would pray to the certain ancestral like burial site that my family is a part of, like my mom's side of the family, of course.
Right.
And then we would just give our offerings and stuff and pray, and then we would eat what was like after giving a moment for our ancestors to eat the food. We would all like as a family like take our turns to eat, and it was pretty fun. Although it was like super hot, like it was still kind of humid at the time, and like that day that we went, it was pretty sunny, no, not much wind,
Mm.
but it was really fun. And I went during that trip with my mom and my uncle. I don't think I ever like mentioned that before, but it was with my mom and my uncle and me. And yeah, that was the reason why we went back to China that time. And then after the whole like business part of it, which was visiting the ancestors, then we did the whole traveling thing.
Oh,
But I
okay.
think that's all that I can remember. Unless you have something else to add.
Did you go to any amusement parks outside of the U.S.?
Amusement parks outside the US. This was one time in Hong Kong. I
Hong
forgot what
Kong. Oh,
year.
I've never been to
Yeah,
Hong Kong.
in Hong Kong. Because my dad's side of the family is all in Hong Kong.
Mm.
And usually when I remember, from what I remember, the times when I went to Hong Kong was for a wedding. And yeah, I think that was the time when I rode my first roller coaster was in Hong Kong.
Really?
I
How old were
forgot
you?
10,
10 on your
12?
first roller coaster? Oh, you're brave.
Yeah, 10 or 12. And it was like a really quick, I think it was like a 7 to 10 second roller coaster. It was
Oh,
like the
okay,
quickest
okay.
roller
All
coaster.
right.
But it was pretty high though.
Ooh,
And I
okay.
think it was next to some body of water. And there was like a part of the roller coaster where it like rode out over the water. And I think that was the scariest part.
Whoa.
But overall, like my first roller coaster, like the wind blowing in my eyes, I probably couldn't see like the whole thing. But I just remember like standing in line that there was a certain. Yeah, that was my first roller coaster. And
Wow.
my only amusement park out of the US, I think. That was the only time. Everything else was like business related trips, kind of.
Oh, okay.
And like, yeah, chill shopping. I believe Joseph's back from tending to his special
Yep,
guest.
after
You
our
wanna,
little segment.
Yeah, my
yeah, for
special
your little
guest is sitting right next to me right now. So
segment?
He's just being obedient. But what was it about?
Philippines.
Where was I left off? After that.
Philippines and surfing. And after you got
Oh,
back.
so it was volleyball, and then I guess I didn't realize, but I got sunburnt for the last like 4 days because I didn't put lotion or sun lotion,
Oh, that's very important.
sunblock. Yeah, so the whole time it was peeling my skin, and then I was like,
Ooh.
and then my mom forgot that I was still sunburnt, so she was like, "Are you okay, Joseph?" So she slapped me on my shoulder. I was like, "Ma,
Oh my gosh.
Ma, still hurts." So I was like, really sunburnt, and then my brother also was like injured. Well, not injured. I would say just trying to like heal himself from all the rocks that he like stepped on in the ocean or whatever.
Mm.
But and then the little kids, my mom's, I guess, little nephew, they were watching him, taking care of him too, putting a flashlight to see. I was like, which I thought was kind of cute,
Right.
making sure he was all right. But other than that, we had fun. It lasted way too long. The sunburn.
Ooh,
After
4 days,
we,
yeah.
yeah, and then so we went back to my dad's side, and I think LaChine talked about. She said there was like pigs and other stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, we had that too, and then we had dogs running around.
Did you see chickens? There was a lot of chickens there too.
Okay, I'll tell you about the chickens. The chickens, though, every like 5 o'clock in the morning, it was like I hear this like 5 times, which is like the traditional like thing I always hear every single time I wake up in the morning. I'm like, I want to go back to sleep. Let me go back. So it keeps cockle-toodling 5 times, and I was like, all right, gotta wake up, go drink some coffee, eat some freaking bread, and yeah. Other than that, we just went shopping. But was there like something that you guys do 6 o'clock in the morning or whatever? Like there's like a like Pledge of the Allegiance type of thing, because that's what happens every time to us.
Oh, they like blasted on the speaker?
It's like blasted from inside the mall. So before the second trip, when it was just me and my dad, I was with my auntie and we went to the Robinson Mall. Everybody just stood still, and I was like, "What is everyone doing?" She was like, "Just stand still. It's okay. You don't have to do anything." So they didn't put their hands over their like heart, I believe,
Mm.
but they just stood still, listened to like the national anthem. So I
At
was
6
like,
in the morning?
one happened at 6 o'clock in the morning, I think, and then the other. Oh no, Robinson wasn't open at 6, so I think it was like 1 o'clock because we went there around 12, stayed there for an hour, and then the national anthem came up, and then everybody just went back to their normal like whatever they're doing. So it was kind of weird. I don't know if that's something that you guys did in China or what, but
No, I didn't
yeah.
have that.
Oh, okay.
No, not that I know of. No.
Okay, but I found that odd and interesting at the same time. But other than that, we went back to home, and it was fun.
I bet you came back really tanned, huh?
Oh, I'm brown now. Today, I'm brown.
Well, did you learn your lesson to slap on some sunscreen?
Yep. When I went back for the second trip, I did.
A couple bottles worth of sunscreen.
I stayed. But yeah, it was fun.
Well, have you guys ever had any trips, like fun and interesting trips inside the US?
In the U.S., I think it was only. I don't want to talk about California, but Utah. Nah, actually, California. It was Six Flags. That's all I can say. It
How
was the
about
most fun part.
Colorado? You guys go to Colorado a lot.
Oh yeah. So that was the first time I actually went by myself in Colorado because my brother actually, what was it? It was like July 4th. So he wanted me to come over there because it was just him and his fiance. And so I just went ahead, went to Colorado, and they were like lived close by, like 10 minutes away.
Hmm.
And then right next to it, I wouldn't say right next to it. They live next to the airport. That's why. But we just went ahead and did like just some talking, like catch up, what was about, and then my brother's fiance is cool. She's like the same as him, like both a-holes, so it's good.
Cool.
Uh,
A-holes, but cool. Got it. Got
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. She was shy at first when she met me, but after that, she was like, "You suck, Joseph. You too." I was like, you know what? Leave me alone. No, but they had to like go to like their jobs in the army, so I was at home just playing Minecraft or like editing some stuff. And then after that, they came back because they had to prep for July 4th. So me and me, my brother's fiance, him, and another person, I forgot his name already, but oh my god, I did not know this, but he plays Pokemon Go and he's maxed out. He's like a nerd when it comes to Pokemon. I was like, oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. He talked about anime as well. But besides that, I had my fun with him. We had to go to Wyoming to get illegal fireworks. Hopefully they don't hear me about this or watch this video. So, but
Anyways,
we went to Wyoming. It was like a long trip. I don't know how long, but it was really long. We had to wake up around 6 o'clock in the morning just to go to Wyoming. But we had to go to like 4 different areas, and we hear this dude on the megaphone going, "If you want better fireworks, go to this one, go to that one. We still have more." And I was like, "Oh, all right." So I'm just eating my Takis, and then all of a sudden, we found what we wanted. It was so illegal,
Oh
and I
my
was
god.
like, it was like, oh my god. I didn't buy it though, so it's not my fault.
no, they were just good fireworks. Really, really good fireworks.
Oh, anyways, but we had to go back because we were actually tired, and it was good. Like we see a lot of different types of like greenery, mountains. It's just like Vegas. I just see way too many mountains. Could care less. We came back. It was already night, like 7 o'clock. We just took a nap, and then after that it was July 4th, and we just did some of the and the ping pong, and then I think it's okay. But we had a veteran come to us, and they were like, "You can't be doing this. Like, there's other people like who have like PTSD, all that." And an argument happened. I didn't know what happened because I was good and I was gone. So I don't really remember. So thank God. But I went good, and everybody was in the house playing Smash. And I heard my brother said, "Joseph." He patted my head. He said, "Go to sleep. Go to sleep. You're drunk. Go to sleep." I was like, "All right, all right, okay." The next day, he was like, "Joseph, why didn't you play Smash with us? You told me to go to sleep." And I was like, "Ow, damn it, my head. You suck." And I was like, "Oh, my bad then. Yeah." I whooped everybody's butt, and I was like, "All right, you know what? I couldn't. All right, I was tired. I good too much. I'm done." And then we just had pho, which wasn't really the best because it's not pho.
Just noodles and soup.
Yeah, it wasn't the actual pho. Other than that, it was fun. And then I had to say bye to them and head back home. And yeah, it was good. Cold. Oh, before that,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll talk about the hiking. And then that'll be it. But the hiking part, I don't know what it's called. I forgot. Both my brother said it and my other uncle. He saw my Instagram, but the amount of steps that we went up was crazy because first we couldn't start from the first stairs because the lady was like, "Well, you're supposed to make reservations." So we went to a different route, and then we had to go all the way up, which was all incline, and we went into the middle of the stairs. I would say it's about 3,000 steps, so we're in between that. So within those 1,500 steps, we went all the way up, and after that, like in the middle of the 1,500 steps, I cramped, and one
Oh
of the
shoot.
locals had to help me out because my calf was like how do I explain this? It's like digged into a bowl shape, and they were like, "Here, take this water. Take this water." Oh, you sure? Yeah, yeah. Take it. You have to. I was like, "Oh," so I drank. They gave me like chocolate almonds and other stuff. I was like, "All right, thanks, thank you, thank you, thank you." Like I kept on thanking them. I was like, "Yeah, no problem, no problem. Just make sure you stretch and you keep doing that." And then me and my brother was like stuck within the steps, and his fiance was already up there, and I was like, "What the hell, yo!" So I just enjoyed the scenery. I did post some stuff on Instagram, I believe, with my brother, and we did make it. But after that, we just heard thunder, and we had to go. It was raining, like it was on and off. And then after that, I was already tired, and I can't believe it, but I slept for like 6 hours when we went back home. I was just done. But yeah, I had fun. What about you guys?
Okay. Well, I went to California in August 2019, and that was my last trip right before COVID hit. And I went with
Yeah.
my sister, her husband, and his mom. And we went to Mammoth Lakes, June Lake, and San Francisco. And when I went to the lake, the waters was blue. We went kayaking there, and it was crazy. The weather was super nice. And then in San Francisco, we went to the Japan district, and I bought a bunch of merchandise from there. And we also went to a Japanese tea garden, and I took a lot of pictures there on my camera. And yeah, that was my most recent trip, and I'm glad I got that trip in right before COVID hit.
Hey.
And LaChine, do you have anything else to share?
Um, I didn't really have any like super amazing like trips, like spending a night somewhere or something, but
Hmm.
so I live in Canada, and so for Canadian, let me just start with the context where if you're Canadian and you attempt to get a driver's license, it's not as simple as like passing the written and then passing the driving test and then you get your license.
Hmm.
It's you have to pass the written and then you have to practice with either a licensed like teacher or someone who has like the full license for at least a year or something like that. And then you can test your G1. G1 qualifies you to drive regular streets, like by yourself,
Hmm.
but you can't drive the highway. And G2 is when you can, like, drive the highway or something without a license, like, person, like, sitting next to you or something. Or no, sitting next, yeah, they have to sit next to you.
Oh,
With G1,
okay.
it's not license. Anyways, so I have a G2 and I like during I think it's the beginning of when summer started. So like that was like no school. Finally decided like, oh, I want to try to drive the highway. And that was the beginning of all my road trips. And I would always go with my mom. And I would plan these road trips at least every week. We went somewhere different every week. And it would mainly be like ports or beaches and like national parks. And let me just tell you that in Ontario, even if you drive 4 hours or like, yeah, even if you drive 4 hours, you're still gonna be in Ontario. That's how like crazy this is. And so I would always be the one driving. I drove like the most I drove recently, I guess, is like 7 hours
Oh,
total.
wow. Okay.
I drove 7 hours. We took a couple like rest stops and stuff, but I didn't feel very tired. But we went to Algonquin National Park. That's the one that I recently did before school started picking up again. And it was fun. I went for my birthday actually, and I wanted to see the fall colors because like Canadian maple leaves.
Oh, yeah. Autumn is really nice.
Yeah, but so I kept keeping track of like the fall colors on their website because that they always have like a full color report and when certain trees like peaked in terms of like being red or orange in the color.
Hmm.
And but unfortunately, the week that I had like no school, that would be my birthday week. That was like the week where all the colors were just gone, and it was the rainiest week ever. And when I finally decided to drive the 7 hours, I just drove through like rain. I didn't get to see a single like good looking tree because all the like the rain like took off the leaves from the
Oh
trees.
no.
So it was just muddy and gloomy and stuff. It was okay. I still had fun though. It was a good 7 hours because I really like driving.
Hmm.
That's the thing with me. I'd rather drive than like take an airplane somewhere. Just all about the experience. Yeah, that's my recent trip
Oh,
before
okay.
school started and nowhere else to go now. How about you, Jim? Anything else to add? Any trips
No.
in
So
like
California in
outside?
2019 was my most recent trip,
Oh yes,
and the
that one.
2019 trip to China, that was the
Hmm.
most memorable one. And Joseph, do you have anything else to add?
Nah, that's the thing with you.
Okay, well, thank you all for listening to the 4th episode of the Shugi Podcast. And if you do travel to this day, just make sure you be careful, stay safe, wear your mask, of course.
Pack sunscreen.
Yeah, and I hope when everything kind of calms down in the world, I hope we can travel some more and have more to talk
Wow.
about.
Wow. Okay.
Was
Sunscreen.
was that a late reaction to me?
Yeah. My mic was messed up. But
Oh,
yeah.
okay, but yeah, I'm just saying, when everything calms down, I hope we can travel some more and have more to talk about. All right, well, thank you all for listening. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye. You on the back. Put
Wait.
the jingle. You on the back.
Roll one, roll one.